Napoli 1-2-1.
Hello guys and welcome. We're just going to go over the match reaction, how we felt, our thoughts and opinions on how the game went. So to begin with, of course, the match scoreline ended 4-3 in Bayern's favour. Of course, as you guys know, we were away at the Allianz Arena and we were able to, I'd say, come away with a result that, as much as, of course, I'll never say that it was a positive result. We are Manchester United at the end of the day. We are a club steeped in history, so I cannot go on to say that this was a decent result. However, it was being predicted all over the gaff that Man United were going to get pumped. It'd be the return of the Arsenal 10-2 days. It'd be what Tottenham had handed out to them a few years back. That was a narrative that was being spun on us, that we were going to get absolutely packed up in this game. And it wasn't. It was a respectable scoreline in the end. And as you see in the video title, I do believe, as much as it overall, there are plenty of negatives to take away from this game, at the same time, there are a lot of positives that I would take from this game as well. There are some embers of positivity. A few things that I saw today that let me know that, you know what, Man United may just not be finished. Tell me, give me an idea of what you thought, who you thought would a standout performance today, if any.
Standout performance today? Well, I'll say Reguilon. Reguilon played good. You know, he's shown me stuff, man. Shown me stuff. He came in as the underdog. You know, people think he's not going to perform. He wasn't getting any game time for Tottenham, and that's Tottenham in its small club. So people were really thinking that this guy was going to be trash. He's came in and he's been performing two matches in a row. Yeah, he's performed 2 matches in a row, which is good. Who else? Hoijlund. Hoijlund played pretty well. You know, he got the goal. His first goal for United. We don't talk about the one that was disallowed, unfortunately, of course. But yeah, he played well, to be fair. Nice holder play as usual. Lincoln pretty well. Yeah, he did his thing that match. Who else would I say played well? I mean, I feel like, yeah, there was definitely a few of them that played well, but I can just hand it back to you now. You can.
Yes, quite frankly, it was definitely one of those games. Well, if we just start on Casemiro, he's the player in the thumbnail. He ended up actually getting a brace in this game. He scored 2 goals, and he sort of, by the end of the game, was very much involved, and he was very much involved even in the first goal he scored. He got the what you call the pre-cum assist. He got the goal, the pass before the pass, essentially. That's what he had for the first goal. So he was directly involved in all 3 goals we scored today. But what I would say about Casemiro was it was very much a Bruno-esque performance from him. When I say Bruno-esque, I mean in the sense that a lot of fans, especially the ones that hate Bruno, they say that, you know, he has a poor performance overall. He's giving away a lot of the ball. He's just making bad decisions, losing the ball in bad areas, not being able to finish his food, overhang passes, all this kind of stuff attributed and thrown at Bruno, petulance, all that stuff, yeah? Overall bad performance, but then he'll go and he'll bag a goal, he'll get an assist, whatever. It was slightly similar sort of thing we saw from Casemiro today. Was poor overall, didn't track Gnabry in the first half. He did not track him in the first half.
Thanks for the subscribe, by the way.
That allowed us to concede that first goal, because obviously Gnabry had the freedom of the box to do what he wanted. Overall, he was getting bypassed, ran through like he wasn't there. We normally talk about Eriksen being the guy that is so easy to bypass in the midfield, but Casemiro today, he was getting ran past like he wasn't there. He looked slow. He was diving in. It was very similar to the Tottenham performance where he had James Maddison running at him, Papa Matasar, at times Idogi, just running at Casemiro, and the guy was on skates. Today Musiala, and don't get me wrong, guys, I would say though, if you watch Musiala either during the World Cup or some games of Bayern, the Champions League, whatever, Musiala, he can do that to pretty much anyone. He can do that to pretty much anyone. He can have almost anyone on skates, but this is big game Miro. the caliber of player, I do expect him to at least make a contest where some of these ground duels are winning it. But he was getting cooked.
This shit at home.
Cooked.
Oh, but he
wasn't present for the first goal. But a player of his quality, obviously going to see some moments of him showing what he's capable of. That's why when I hear people saying that Casemiro is finished, I wouldn't go as far as to say he's finished. That's far from the truth. There's no way you just fall off that quickly. He's 31, not 36. Let's keep it a buck. Yep. I very much believe that Casemiro will grow into the season. That's why I was asking in the chat prior to this during the watch along how I believe that Casemiro, when he actually started playing for Man United last year, I think he may be one of those players where he really takes some games to get going. Even when he first came into the Man United team after McTominay was ousted, he was actually quite poor for the first maybe 2 or 3 games. Even the Everton game that he gave us an assist to Ronaldo, he was still quite poor in that game. I think, like I've said before, during the watch along, during the end of the game, the last part of this year into next season's campaign, sort of the start of the new year, I genuinely think Man United are going to look like one of the better teams in the Premier League. I genuinely think, the people in the Premier League, the fans, the rivals, whatever, are going to have a much different impression of Man United in this second half of this season. Genuinely. And you can hold that, clip this up, you can hold me to that. I genuinely saw some embers of positivity. Now, the main talking point at the start of the match was Pellistri's inclusion in this game. Of course, we're going to talk about Man United being a Man United-based channel, but we'll more than happily go on to speak about Bayern as well. Give me an idea, bro. How did you think about how Pellistri performed during the game? Because obviously he was reintroduced and sort of thrown into this game. Sort of, I would say, thrown into the deep end because he didn't have much playing time for Man United, but then he was just randomly put into this game even though he never plays for us. What was your opinion on Pellistri's performance?
My opinion on Pellistri, I can't lie. I really cannot lie to you right now. I don't think he did the best. I really don't think he did the best, to be fair. I feel like he's probably one of them players like Garnacho that he can make an impact when he comes off the bench. You can't just start, as you said before, you can't just start him in a random game like this.
Exactly.
Bro, this is Champions League as well. First game against Bayern Munich. That's not a joke. They just started him randomly. He was probably even surprised himself.
I guarantee the guy probably
surprised himself.
Tenal probably was reading out the team sheet. He said Pellistri like, I'm playing. Oh, some people like, oh, Bears. And of course he's gonna get cooked by Davies. This guy, he was literally talking the other day on a stream, because you know this guy's a part-time Twitch streamer. At the end of the day, bro, he's that good. He's able to do Twitch part-time and still cook right winger. Fair enough. But this guy was talking about how he's grown up on hard food. Ghanaian guy in it, grown up on that hard food. This guy be eating cassava, plantain, and that fufu diet, man. This guy's on that fufu diet, bro. So, of course, Pellistri's going to struggle with him all game. What's this guy talking about? I was in the news and now I'm watching them lose. Bro, what? This guy, relax. This guy's coming out with lines, you know. Bro, I'm telling you, I can't wait for Arsenal to hold that.
Oh, my.
Trust me when I say that. The minute you guys come up against decent opposition, your bums will go. Right now, you're in a Europa League caliber group. Your bums will go the minute you enter a game against decent opposition. I pray you get a Barcelona, then you can see true sexy football.
Trust me,
they'll use sexy football to beat you at your own game. Yeah. Anyway, back to the game now. So next player I want to talk about now, and I think this is a player that all of you United fans must have certain opinions of. Obviously, not as a man. We do not talk about them as men. We talk about them strictly as football players. Yeah. Eriksen. Eriksen. I genuinely believe Eriksen is a big problem for Manchester United at the moment. We'll beat Barca again. Keep living in La La Land, bro. man thinks that Man thinks that rice is gonna help you beat Barca, bro. Basmati and that. In Spain, they be eating proper food, paella. They're not on the basmati thing, man.
Trust me.
Yeah. So Eriksen honestly is a problem for Man United. That song's a banger. I won't lie, but wait till we'll gel properly. There's plenty of change that this club has undergone. Exactly. Eriksen's a big problem for the team. I've said it again, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this guy is making me feel like that at the moment. He is off the ball a detriment. The thing is, you can be sort of, a mid-level presser. A lot of you guys probably play football. There's different work rates, right? In FIFA. High attacking work rate, high defensive work rate, medium, low, whatever, yeah? Eriksen, he's basically a medium attacking work rate and then low defensive work rate. He does, in fact, not even low, negligible, zero defensive work rate.
As you said before, he's 10 men.
He actually hurts us. He hurts us more off the ball than actually helps. I would rather, those frames people use to take free kicks, yeah? I would rather we take one of those and then slap that next to Casemiro than Eriksen. That would actually, because at least maybe someone will run into it. Because Eriksen, he's always running after people. He's genuinely always trailing people. He lets his man go all the time. And also, like I said before, unless you're going to offer us Xabi Alonso level passing, Andrea Pirlo, the return of Paul Scholes, when you actually get the ball, now you got in your feet, dictating play, spraying pinpoint passes all over the place. Unless you can do that for us, you do not deserve, at the moment anyway, on current form, to be playing for Manchester United. Because you are detrimental off the ball, and also you are hurting us on the ball too, bro. So that's the current issue I'm having with Eriksen. I like the player, and I do want him to get back to the sort of form we saw when he first arrived. But after that injury, he's not looked the same, and I do think he needs some time out to sort of find himself. And luckily, his poor form has sort of coincided with a lot of our players coming back. So I'd love to see, of course, things changing. I'd love to see things changing and for him to, get back to where he was prior to this. The next person I actually want to have a talk about, run me through your overall thoughts on Onana today. Overall thoughts on Onana.
Apart from, why did so many players fall off a cliff after their first season at United, or at least big drop in form?
Bro, these are questions we need to answer, bro.
Actually.
Tell me about Onana.
Bro, Onana, it's just really a shame because I really feel like Onana played well today. It's just that stupid mistake, man. Mm-hmm. It's just that stupid mistake. The corners, he was claiming the corners, the crosses, whatever you want to call it, bro. He was claiming them nicely. He was literally playing from the back nicely. He was very composed on the ball. It's literally like what we saw in the Champions League final against Inter Milan. Against Manchester City when he was still playing for Inter Milan. Yeah. He was very composed on the ball. Mm-hmm. He was picking out his passes very well, which is what I liked about him. Claiming the corners, he played well. It's just one stupid mistake, and I know a lot of people now, those flipping keyboard warriors on Twitter now, are just gonna be saying, "Oh, Nana out and that because of that mistake." Yeah. But if you actually sat down and watched the match, you'll see that he actually played well. Mm-hmm. He played well.
Honestly, before I go on to this pinned message that we got here from Roy, this is one of those. If there was a performance that you could show younger players or players going through a bit of bad form or that have had some bad matches in the past, I would actually call. It's very strange to say that a player that has conceded 4 goals as the goalkeeper, you could almost give him any sort of praise at a time instead of just completely lambasting him. But the funny thing about Man United is, as we were saying before, the types of chances Man United concede, the quality of chances we consistently concede, it means that whenever the opposition do end up getting a shot on goal, it tends to be a goal. Because it's not as if we're so good and well-oiled unit that we make the opposition players shoot from bad angles, we force them to have long shots. Look at the first goal. Of course, if putting the first goal aside, that's a freak mistake, and obviously he needs to be criticised for that massively. But the second goal, cut back into the box, play of Gnabry's level from that range, no pressure, he's gonna score. If Gnabry misses that, people are criticising Gnabry, so they don't expect Onana to save it if you criticise the striker for not scoring it. The second goal, that was the penalty. I said it before he even took it. Harry Kane, bottom left corner. Whoever's watched Harry Kane over the past few years, you knew he was going to go there. But can you stop his penalties? Absolutely not, because his technique is phenomenal. The fourth goal now, the last one. Inside our box, literally up the goalkeeper's ass. He was that close to him and just slaps into the roof of the net. Which of those goals, outside the first one, do you expect Onana to truly be saving? None of them. But what he did do was come and claim crosses, help us keep possession at the back, and he was overall a calming figure, because really and truly, in this sort of pressure environment away from home, after making that mistake, he could have completely crumbled.
That's what they hate.
He could have spilled the ball after coming for a cross, they come and tap it, and later he could have been giving away loads of wayward passes, start hitting the ball long instead of sticking to the game plan of playing out from the back. But he fully maintained, he kept his composure, and he was able to actually grow into the game. And for the remainder of the game, he made a lot of good saves. He was good. And onto your point, Roy, why do so many players fall off a cliff after the first season at United? I believe it's a twofold issue. One is the lack of stability at the goal. The lack of stability at the club means that when players finish their first season, they always tend to be a second season fall off. There tends to be a second season fall off from United players, because Man United as a club always fall off in the manager's second season. A new manager comes in, signs all these players, second season comes, the backing reduces, problems start, toxicity starts, the league starts, happened to Oli, happens to everyone. The whole club comes crumbling down after the first transfer window into the second year. So then the whole club is now a toxic environment, nothing's working, and all the players look shot. In Eriksen's case, I'd say it's a mixture of age and injuries that caught up with him. So Eriksen's a bit different, but some of the younger players have come in and look dreadful afterwards. I'd say it's just the whole aura around the club isn't conducive to performing long term. Besides the mistake, Onana had a decent game, but he's made a few mistakes since he joined United. He needs to prove. Yeah, I'd agree with that. However, what I would say is, I'm not trying to make excuses, but it isn't the most, someone needs to tell Onana he can use his hands. You're relaxed, man. So you didn't see him using his hands to claim those crosses and stuff, and to save those shots from Coleman.
That's what I'm gonna say. He did make a few.
Bro, this guy's trolling. Just leave this guy. Leave him to his own devices. But in terms of his comment, Roy Keane, he does need to improve very, very quickly. If he doesn't improve, we are gonna struggle, because at the moment, Manchester United are incapable of holding a defensive position and a defensive line that allows us to limit the amount of chances the opposition get. So we are finished if he doesn't. Essentially, if we get the second half Onana for the majority of this season, we'll be okay. Along with, improving, getting our defensive structure right, getting players like Varane back in, I think we'll be fine. But if we get the Onana from that moment, as for the other moments this year, strap in, guys. Strap in. Make sure you strap in. Make sure you got the braces on. When you go to like Drayton Manor or something, make sure you're holding tight. Got a seatbelt on. Make sure you double and triple check everything, because it's going to be a bumpy ride, and you might need to turn off your Twitter 9 times out of 10. Your Twitter battery off. So yeah, that's one thing. So quickly before we continue talking about some of the United players, talk to me about Musiala. How did you see Musiala's impact on this game?
Oh my days, wow. This Musiala guy, man. This guy was just dribbling through the midfield. My guy was just breezing past Casemiro and Eriksen like they were not even there, bro. It's like they were not even there. Bro, the whole match, fam, these man were literally chasing Musiala, fam. Literally like this, bro. Full on chasing the guy, bro.
I was scrambling.
Scrambling. Bro, it was peak, fam. bro. Oh my, it was long, bro. That's to be fair. He was doing that, and he was actually like, he had like a couple good through balls here and there. Yeah, he was he did well, to be fair, Musiala, but it was just annoying seeing him just breeze past the midfield. It was literally exactly. He dominated the midfield.
100% right, bro. Hey,
He dominated.
Musiala genuinely dominated that midfield. The thing, when I did my initial predicted lineup, if I just jump across now, and this isn't my predicted lineup, but this is the actual lineup for the game, the lineup we saw. So obviously you had Kane, Gnabry on the wide with Sane, Musiala, Goretzka, Kimmich, Davies, Kim, Upamecano, and Lema. Cool. What I would say, quite frankly, is Musiala, I initially predicted they would have Muller in there. The reason why I predicted Muller is because of the term that's been coined for him, which is the Ramdeuter position. The fact that it literally just translates to being space finder. And we struggle with third man runs into the box, and you probably won't find a better player in maybe the last 10 years of making late runs into the box to score those little cheesy, sweaty tap-in goals. I'm not saying, he's a tap-in merchant. Muller's a great player, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying those poachers types of goals, you wouldn't find a player better than Muller over the past few years of doing that. That's who I thought was going to start the game. But the issue that I had, and why I identified that position, the number 10 position in the 4-2-3-1 for Bayern, as being the main issue for Man United, was because either way, if they played Muller or Musiala, I knew Man United were in for a long day. Muller, because he's gonna find, it's not that he might find space in the box.
He will.
Muller will find space in our box, especially since we're crap at defending our penalty area. He will find space and he will get a shot on goal. It will happen at least once in the game. Musiala, the reason why I identified him, if they play him as being a threat, is because of what you saw today. He had these lots skating. You would have thought that they replaced the grass for an ice rink. We were watching Disney on ice in the midfield. The whole match, Disney on ice. Left, right. Feints here, body feints here, in and out, La Croqueta here and there. Bro, he was just spinning, man. Eriksen out here trying to grab people. Casemiro chasing shadows the whole match. And don't get me wrong, Musiala is the kind of guy who he'll do all that. And when it comes down to end product, he's the kind of player that he's a lot of tricks and dribbling, but his end product needs to improve. Maybe he'll get better at that when he's older. But right now, his dribbling ability that he has in his locker is one of the best in the world. Exactly, he's one of the best in the world in terms of his actual dribbling on the ball. His end product needs to improve, but I knew he was going to create so much space for his teammates because he was going to bypass our midfield. Because we don't have people that can run. Casemiro's a great tackler,
but if someone
gets past him, he's not going to recover it. Eriksen, less spoken about his off the ball work, the better. That's why I knew either Musiala or Muller, the two M's, were going to be the main issue for United this game. If I just pin this message, Musiala wasn't fully fit and he assisted the second goal. Yeah, he did. There was a little bit of fortune because the ball bounced off Dalot, but of course, he still did good work to get into that position, laid off to Gnabry, and it was a great finish. He did hit the side netting with his weak foot, so you can't even hate, frankly.
Yeah. I just can't wait for Amrabat and their man to come in because stuff like this, I feel like Musiala would have had a much harder time driving through the midfield like he did today.
Yeah.
Because with an Amrabat in the midfield, he's got the energy and the strength that even if Musiala does get past him, Amrabat can recover. Even Mount's got the flipping the pace to get. Yeah,
Mount's got he can cover ground. He can cover ground and he presses very well. So if I have a look here. Again, this was a match where I believe our fullbacks were quite good again. Tomorrow we will be I will do a player rating show, so we'll get into it a bit more. United fans watch Musiala and Kimmich play midfield, and they have the decency to call Bruno Fernandes a world-class midfielder. Ha! This guy, you know what? What I would say to you, Sage, is I do think you're a little bit too quick. I think you're a bit. I don't tell me you're one of those eye test merchants, bro. Are you one of those eye test merchants? Because quite frankly, from where I'm saying, I can understand the Kimmich thing. I genuinely think he's been at the top for a long time. But Musiala, like I said, he doesn't offer in general a lot of output. Don't get me wrong, he's very technically gifted. And if anyhow Musiala adds a level of output to his game, I'm not talking about he has to be crazy numbers, but just, when it's in the right situations, he's able to be decisive more often than not. If you looked back at his World Cup performance, which was recent, he was poor in terms of the amount of chances he got in the box versus Japan, all these teams. I believe even against Spain, did Germany play Spain in the last World Cup? I believe they did. They were in the same group, yeah.
Okay.
Against Spain, against Japan, he was able to get past a lot of players. When it came to the final shot, final pass, he will scuff it. Today, even, the pass he played for Gnabry is not exactly like it was world class. The guy's right in front of him. So, as much as I agree with you in the sense that maybe some fans do overrate Bruno, let's not talk about Musiala as if this guy is currently operating the same way Messi was at his age or something. Like, it's not that. He's good, and if he becomes more decisive, I believe he can be great. But right now, calma. He's good. Maybe even very good. He's not amazing. Ha! Man said, wait, you have McTominay midfield. I want to criticize. Bro, come on, brother. Wait, just watch Ten Hag's PM interview. The man looks frustrated. Hope he can turn it. I will get onto that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So look, man said, wait, you have McTominay in midfield and want to criticize Musiala. Germany as a whole were poor in the World Cup. Bro, look, this is elite level football. For starters, the first thing, when you're at elite level of football, it's all about the fine margins, especially when you play against decent teams. The best players in their positions, especially more active in the attacking areas, are the players that in the right moments, in the key moments, more often than not, they're able to be decisive. It's constructive criticism. Is McTominay anywhere near the level of Musiala? Yeah. Not even on his best day. Not even if God came down and kissed his boot, would McTominay be anything better than a bench warmer. The guy is finito. Yeah? So as much as you talk about McTominay, but you're talking about, anyway, if we go to the point that McTominay, you're talking about him, but McTominay, he doesn't start for Man United. He doesn't start for us. The player that starts for us in our midfield, for the most part, is Casemiro. We now have Amrabat, who'll be a starter, even Mount, and we also have Bruno Fernandes. So you're talking about McTominay. Why don't you talk about Casemiro? Why are we talking about Musiala? Why are you doing a comparison of Musiala versus McTominay? Why don't we talk about the guys that actually start for us?
Literally.
Because Musiala, I know they're different positions, but he's not better than Casemiro. He's better than Mount, I'll give you that. Is he better than Bruno? At some things, yeah. In terms of chance creation and being decisive, no. Can he become better than Bruno? Oh, yes. No, bro, I did not say, bro, I did not, don't do that. Don't do that. I did not say that I mentioned Mount. I just mentioned him. I did not say that he was better than, bro, I mentioned if you want to do a comparison, at least speak on Mount, Amrabat, Casemiro.
Because these are players that are better.
No, not that better. These are players that start.
Oh, yeah.
These are players that are starters or are in and around the starting 11. Don't compare him to someone that was just about to be sold to West Ham and or Fulham. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's an unfair comparison to speak on our midfield as if currently McTominay is one of our prime starters, and he's not. Is he better than Mount? Of course. Is he better than Eriksen? Yes, of course. Is he better than Casemiro and Bruno? No, he's not. Is he better than Amrabat? They're very different. Maybe we'll have to see how Amrabat does, but maybe he's better than Amrabat. If we're going off the World Cup anyway, I know it's not the best thing all the time to go off the World Cup, but based off the World Cup, Amrabat did better than him. As much as, yes, Germany were a mess, as you mentioned before, and I appreciate that, but there were moments where Musiala could have taken the game away from Japan, and he didn't do it. I watched those games. He did not do it. I saw him go through 2-3 people. Amazing, majestic. put it on a TikTok reel, and the shot was pathetic afterwards. Don't get me wrong, I think he'll be fantastic in a couple of years from now. But let's not talk about him as if he's not even doing what Bellingham's doing right now. Let's not talk about him like he's even on that. He's not on that level. Yeah. So continuing on. Given the choice, do you think anyone would buy Bruno instead of Musiala? We'll get back onto that. Just hold on a second, bro. We'll definitely I'll pin it here. We'll get back onto that. I just want to talk a bit more about this. First, to talk about. Tell me right now, Rashford's performance today. Tell me.
Rashford. Well, the good thing that we can take away from this match from Rashford is that he passed the ball.
Yep.
Clap our hands for that, man. He passed the
main
ball.
one. Yep.
He got the assist for Hoijlund. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say about Rashford, bro. Literally in like the first half, bro. Oh my god. Every time we got the ball to the final third, bro, every touch was just bouncing off this guy, and then the attack would just crumble down.
Yep.
The attack will just crumble. I was like, yo, what is this guy doing, fam?
Mm-hmm.
Pattern your touch, bro. It's the Champions League. It's the first match of the Champions League against Bayern Munich. And you, bro, just pattern your touch, fam. Like, brother, they were giving him some easy passes. My guy was just fumbling every touch on the ball, fam. I was like, yo, this guy's skunked, fam. But then he did do some good stuff. Like, obviously, the assist, that ball that he put in. Who did he put that ball into again?
Garnacho. He fluffed it completely.
Bro, that was bad. But
he's not even one of the Germany's main singles. He will be massive. Bruno is as good as he's gonna get with the pressure of Ronaldo hanging over him. I hear it. I do hear what you're saying. But honestly, so speaking again, we'll speak more on that in just a moment, bro. Just hold fire, man. We'll definitely get back to that. But in terms of how you mentioned about Rashford's performance today, Rashford was extremely wasteful because as much as you could say at times, maybe not enough ball was getting to Rashford in the final third, because where you want Rashford and where he normally cooks is, for example, in the first half. Do you remember when we got that moment where he was able to get 1v1 with Lema, put the ball past him, exploded past him into the box, and he chopped back with a little Ronaldo chop. Mm-hmm. Then he tried to put the ball across and the keeper caught it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That's where you want Marcus Rashford. You want him to isolate his fullback, 1v1, run at him and cook him, put a ball in or score a goal, or go for a shot. We got him in quite a few scenarios like that. He was definitely getting a lot of service. The ball was fizzed into him numerous times, and there were a lot of moments where he was 1v1 versus the defender. He either slowed down and allowed the covering centre-back or CDM to come across and make it a 2v1 double up on him because he took too long, or when he would try to beat his man, he was stopped. Bad first touch, so they were able to quickly nip in and get the ball off him. He was very wasteful, and his touch was off today. I do not know what was wrong with Rashford today, but in particular, his touch was poor.
His touch, oh my
yes, God. Rashford does need to pass to Rasmus more. His touch was so poor. There were moments, even in the first half, like you mentioned, the ball's getting put into him. Now, all you need to do is, the first time I remember, the ball got played into him, and this time, I saw Rasmus' movement. He sort of peeled into the space between the two centre-backs. I was thinking, Rashford, please, bro, first time pass into Hoijlund, spin off, and make a run, drag, and then you can probably get the ball back, and you're now down the channel. Maybe Hoijlund can go into the box, get across. Who knows what we could create in that situation. But instead, he decides to take a touch, poor touch this time, and then the ball goes straight back to Bayern. Cool. We engineer a similar situation again. He's now in the exact same position. He goes to pass it this time. This time, the pass was poor. So those decision-making issues. First touch was a problem. His passing was off a lot today. He wasn't able to beat his man. He actually barely got any shots today. Did you see any shots from him today? He wasn't able to engineer, and that tells you that he wasn't able to win any of his duels, because as we know, United fans from watching Rashford, he's normally capable of going 1v1 against his fullback, getting half a yard and getting a shot off. He didn't get any shots off today, really. That tells you all you need to know about his performance today. Rashford doesn't get enough credit. He's the main reason you're in the UCL this season. He's not perfect, but when he scores worldies, you all hail him. He's obviously frustrated and needs help. Bro, I genuinely understand what you're saying, Pat. I genuinely understand, and I do agree to some extent with what you're saying. I do agree with you. He does not get enough credit because there were United fans, many of him, the people that hate Rashford, that even though he was scoring goals, getting assists last season, literally the only one scoring goals, I believe Rashford scored. So we scored 56 goals in the Premier League, and the guy scored 17. Yeah, so that's literally a quarter. A quarter of our goals came from Rashford alone. In fact, sorry, it's more than a quarter. It's in and around. We're actually talking about almost 30% of our goals came from just Rashford himself, one man. That tells you all you need to know about Man United last season. He scored 30 goals. He scored the majority of our goals last year. Yeah, people were still getting onto him. And don't get me wrong, at this level of football, when you do play for Manchester United, we do need to see more. Because at the end of the day, to get to the level where you win a Champions League and a Premier League, it's not just about the goals and assists. Sometimes your overall performance matters because there may be games where you are stopped and well shepherded by your defender. So you do need to sometimes do other things. Can you beat a man and just give the simple pass to create space? All these little things are important when you're playing like a Man City or a Liverpool away, when you may not get as many chances as you're used to. That's the issue that Man United fans have. However, the Man United fans that cook this guy week in, week out, day in, day out, when he's the only one that even looks like they're going to score half the time, at least from the wingers. Hoijlund genuinely looks like a goal threat, but out of our wingers, he's the only one who looks like he's going to ever score a goal. I don't like it. Until these other guys start doing their job, stop focusing on Marcus Rashford. He is a problem, but he's far from being anywhere near the biggest problem. He's somewhat a problem, but he should be the last winger we're talking about. We should be talking about, we've got Sancho, Anthony, we got Pellistri, who's young, but he's not doing anything. Garnacho, who looks out of form even when he's coming off the bench now. He's not impacting games like he used to. Garnacho caused more problems for Bayern in 9 minutes than Pellistri and Rashford in 90 minutes.
Really?
Really? I mean, you know what? Okay, bro. Sage, I can somewhat get on board with what you're saying, but at the same time, I must say that it's pretty negligible. And that's not me being rude to you or your opinion. When I say it's negligible, it's just the fact that Rashford, as I just described now, was pretty wasteful during the game. It wasn't one of his better games. Of course, I'm not putting the good performance down to him because we should have scored. Other people should have scored. Other people should have done better at their jobs. We should concede less goals. Onana made mistakes. It's not just Rashford. But Rashford was wasteful during the game. Pellistri did niche. Guy did hot niche the entire game. Did nothing the entire game. So if we're being even-handed, both of them had poor games. So Garnacho looking better than them in those 9 minutes, it's not really anything to write home about, because the other two people he was competing against were crap.
And you also got to think about it. Garnacho came on as fresh legs, obviously, so you probably would have been looking better than other people that were on the pitch.
It's like someone that weighs 200 kilograms laughing at the other guy who's 250 kilograms and calling him obese. Like, bro, you both need to sort it out. You both need to sort it out. So I wouldn't be laughing at that guy. Look at yourself as well. Why didn't United buy or even loan a striker? Bro, we bought Hoijlund, bro. Don't disrespect my guy Hoijlund, you know. This guy's talking as if we don't have a striker. He's saying that we have the invisible man up front.
That's crazy.
Pat, Rashford was amazing last season, but this season, the problem season, before we wanted him out because he didn't give a shit. Yeah, this season he's beginning to show his attitude again. Low weight, work rate, and wasteful. Yes, that is the main. When I call him a somewhat problem, it's not necessarily because of the goals, assists, and all that stuff. It's the low work rate. It's the fact that he doesn't press enough. I'm not saying he needs to run around the whole game, because I appreciate the fact that he's the only winger we have that looks like he's going to score. So I do understand if maybe the Ten Hag has set it up tactically that he wants Rashford to sort of conserve his energy for sprints later on in the game. I appreciate that, guys. I'm down with that. But my issue is when you do have a fullback or a centre-back in front of you, you have to press the man. You have to press the man when he's in front of you, and you have to press correctly. Even when he does press, he presses like a child. I'm not taking a piss, but have you seen this way this guy presses? He presses in straight lines. He doesn't curve his run to block passing lanes. I'm not trying to get too tactical or anything, but bro, if you're going to press in straight lines and the guy just passes to the man next to him so easily because you didn't cut the passing lane, you may as well just stood still and held the zone. You may as well just stood still than to press in a poor pattern and then just play through you. So either he doesn't press or he presses poorly, then he throws his arms up.
Yeah, I hate when he does that, man. It's such a childish thing, fam. Man's throwing his arms up everywhere, man. Like, brother, you're flipping, like, the guy's like 26, fam. Stop flipping, throwing your arms around like you're some kid that's literally just started playing football, fam. Like,
exactly. Oh, and sorry, Roy Keane, do you have any quotes? Do any of you guys have any quotes from Ten Hag? I know you mentioned that Ten Hag did the post-game interview, the post-match interview. Do you have any sort of thingies? Glazonomics. Do you have any quotes, any of you guys, from Ten Hag or any of the players after the game? So we can have a look at that. I see Rashford is a moments player all around. He's very limited. Yo, that's funny, man. Roy Keane, Rashford gets more flack when United loses than any other player. Where is the plan B? Yo, if you played striker before, you know exactly what that Rashford press is. Basically just jogging to show you are doing it. But this guy, low-key, this comment here is cooking. He's cooking. Let this man cook.
Trust me.
He's cooking this one here. If you played striker before, you know exactly what that Rashford press is. Basically just jogging to show you. Yeah, bro, you know them ones. It's like, them ones where it's kind of similar to, when you guys have all gone to school, I'm sure. When you're running for the bus, you're sprinting, and the bus goes past you. Everyone on the bus is going to look at you, so you slow down. You're like,
yeah, literally.
And you turn your head. You turn your head so the people on the bus don't see you. It's them ones there. That's what Rashford does. Though he's doing it for the camera, acting like he's jogging just for show. That's what he's doing, and you're definitely right for that. And that needs to stop. Because that kind of behavior may work against, we're about to play Burnley, or could work against, what's it called? What's that team? Nottingham Forest that we beat. Mm-hmm. Nottingham Forest, the Burnleys, these relegation standard clubs. He can do that and get away with it. No problems, fam. He can do that and get away with it. It's calm. But the issue is, when we play Man City and you're doing that, there's problems. If you do that against Man City, that's when we start getting cooked. Because if you allow players like, Rodri to just pick up the ball under no pressure, there's problems. John Stones step into midfield, you don't apply pressure onto him, there's problems. You can get away with doing it against some scrubs. When you play against top players, it is a long day if you are a liability off the ball. There's no plan B. Yeah, Glazonomics, like you said before, there's no plan B at United. And oh man, it's just peak. United don't press well as a team because there's not enough pace in you. Yeah. 100%, bro. 100%, Pat. You are 100% correct with that comment, Pat. How do you expect to press when you don't have the pace and or stamina, the intensity? So cool. Casemiro's in this particular scenario where even though he doesn't have pace, sort of like a Rodri, you're able to get away with it because his reading of the game is so good and his actual tackling and interception ability is very good. Of course, people might say, well, you saw him getting cooked today. Is he really that good at tackling and intercepting? But we saw it last season and we've seen it throughout his career. You know what they say? What is this? Is the saying one swallow doesn't make a summer? Something like that. I don't know what the saying is, but you guys correct me in the chat. But a few bad performances from Casemiro doesn't just negate all the things we know he's capable of and we've seen last season. But you've mentioned here people like Eriksen and Scott McTominay. Eriksen has no stamina and no pace, so he's literally a waste of time in the press, like you mentioned here. Scott McTominay, he's a little bit more mobile and he's got good energy, but he's not an intelligent player. And he's not. And the thing with him is, even if you could say, okay, but Scott may be decent potentially in the press, like you say, he's slow. And also, the whole point of being a pressing team is you press, you get the ball, but then you need to do something quickly with the ball. You need to do something quickly with the ball. If you're not able to do something quickly with the ball, afterwards transition the ball, move it forward, and quickly create a goal-scoring opportunity, the press is wasted and you're just wasting energy at that point. But the thing is, if Scott presses and wins the ball back, he'll then give it back to the opposition team with a poor touch or a poor pass. Simple. That's another reason why players like him need to go. Eriksen has the ability, if you could combine Eriksen and Mount into one player, lovely stuff. We'll take it. Give Eriksen's ability to Mount, lovely. Let's be honest, that kid is, this guy is, you're relaxed,
this guy
man.
Is full on like trying to cook us
Relax,
right now,
man.
bro.
Oh yeah, read out this quote. This is Ten Hag's quote, bro. Read that out.
Ten Hag, disappointed. When you score 3 goals in Munich, at least you have to take a point. But we didn't, therefore we have to look in the mirror. The goals were easy giveaways.
Yeah, it did kind of shock me, the fact that we were able to score 3 goals.
Yeah.
I would say though that even before the match started, people were talking about Bayern Munich were going to beat us 5 and 6. The thing is, let's call it spade a spade. Most of the Man United fans, or most Premier League fans in general, they don't watch the Bundesliga. And I'm not saying that because I'm some football supremacist that watches the Bundesliga. I don't watch it either. My brother, no one really watches the Premier League, Bundesliga in England. But honestly speaking, most people were just speaking about Bayern on name and their reputation. That's what was causing them to predict us to lose 5-0. Obviously coupled with our bad performances, but they're predicting us to lose 5-6-0 because Bayern as a club and their name in the Champions League, how good they are, they're just known to be this powerhouse, but they're not that team anymore. Ever since about the year when Lewandowski left, Bayern have been going downhill. They've been on a decline, constantly sort of getting worse. They narrowly won the league to Dortmund last year, but that was more of a Dortmund problem than Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich nearly bottled it, but because Dortmund are literally as bad as Tottenham, but in that league, that's why Bayern ended up winning it. Bayern are not the same team. What's his name? Tuchel, he's under pressure there. They're not that good. One swallow doesn't make summer. There we go. Issue is you don't peak Casemiro. He's not that guy. Real had, and there's too much needed at Man United. Probably Musiala for man of the match. Yeah, I hear it. That's a good shout. It's a good shout. So, yeah, one swallow doesn't make summer. Issue is you don't peak Casemiro. He's not that guy Real had, and that's too much needed at Man United. I mean, of course, he's not the player Real Madrid had, bro. He's not the same player, but we can't just, rub out what he did last season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure, irrespective of whatever club you support, Pat, I'm very sure that you would have probably been giving Casemiro his flowers last season. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can both say that, right? You're probably giving him his flowers?
Because Casemiro last season was something else, man.
Yeah.
That guy, he was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get Casemiro back to his form that he had last season, so good, man. So good.
So, more of you guys keep dropping your man of the match choices in the chat as I just quickly talk about this comment that Sage dropped, which is the quote from Ten Hag. So I am relatively shocked, of course, that we scored 3 goals. But then, like I was saying, Bayern Munich aren't that good of a team. They conceded 2 to Bayer Leverkusen, and yes, Bayer Leverkusen are doing quite well in the Bundesliga, but would Bayer Leverkusen finish anywhere near the top 4? No. Bayern Munich aren't that scary. They're good, but they're not on the same planes of existence as, your Real Madrid. They're not as good as anywhere near Man City. They're not as good as, I wouldn't even say they're as good as the likes of, I'd say Arsenal are probably better than them. Whether Arsenal would beat them is another story, but Arsenal, I'd say, probably are a better team than Bayern right now, especially under Tuchel. They changed the manager, things may change. So I'm not that surprised we scored versus them. I'm more surprised people thought we were going to lose 5-6-0.
Literally. 5-6-0, that's crazy, 5-6-0.
Yeah. So when Ten Hag is saying here that when you score 3 goals in Munich, you should expect to take at least a point. Who would have thought it if someone told you today, Man United are going to score 3 goals this match? Before the match, someone told you Man United would score 3 goals, but then they would then follow up and say, but we're going to lose, by the way. Who would have accepted that? Wait, we're going to score 3 goals, but we're going to lose. That doesn't even make sense. You know what doesn't make sense? Man United doesn't make sense. So we don't even need to be surprised about these things anymore. We don't even need to be surprised about these things. Yeah, Bayern on the same team. Like, most of the teams that get into the top 4 of the Premier League right now are giving Bayern a tough game. They've even beaten them. If this Bayern team, the way they perform today, bop to Anfield, they're losing. They're losing. If they go right now to Anfield, they are losing. They go to the Etihad right now, they are losing. They go to the Emirates, they'll probably lose. They're not that good. It's just that our deficiencies, yes, they should have won last season, exactly. Just that our deficiencies are so overwhelming that we are making these teams that aren't that good. They're good, but not amazing. We're making teams look better than they are. Like, really and truly, they didn't have to work that hard for any of their goals. One's a fumble, one's a penalty, and 2 very sloppy bits of defending.
It's literally just a saying that we have players that literally aren't on form and stuff, that aren't on form, and we've got bare injuries. It's just literally just a mess, man.
You guys in the chat, don't forget to like up the thing, guys. Don't forget to like up the things, share it and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But overall, I'll just give my man of the match for the match. I'ma just go with, if we're talking about Manchester United's man of the match. Oh, this is difficult. I might just give it to Reguilon again. I saw a lot of good things from Reguilon. In terms of overall for the entire game, I'll just jump across and have a look, get another look at this team. Goretzka was anonymous, now that I think about it. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he really didn't
do anything. Sane was good. He was good. I definitely give it to overall man of the match for the game was Sane or Musiala. I think I would shade it to.
You say Musiala?
I maybe shade Sane, but I can see why, for example, Roy Keane gave it to Musiala as man of the match. But I personally would shade Sane. I think he was a constant threat throughout the entire game. I do believe Musiala grew into the game massively in the second half, especially. He really started ripping us apart. But throughout the game, Sane was a constant threat until, of course, he was subbed. So maybe you'd give it to Musiala because he stayed on for 90 minutes. So yeah, I'd say Musiala overall then, because he did play the 90 minutes.
Bayern that good time because they beat them for those easy goals. They won't survive in the Prem.
Yeah. They wouldn't survive in the Prem. Like
100%.
They'd be scraping for top 4. They'd be scrapping for top 4 if they were in our league. They wouldn't win it. Nowhere near. Man City will put these guys to sleep. They come to the Etihad playing like this. They'll sleep them quick. Haaland with at least 2 goals. Sleeping them. Sorry, you don't have peak. Oh no, 100%. No. You're not wrong. Of course we don't have peak Casemiro. There is no way in hell Man United have peak Casemiro. His age, he's definitely not going to be the same player. He would have lost some pace. He would have, his body is obviously slowing down. One good thing about Casemiro is he's always had a good injury record, so irrespective of his age, he will most likely stay fit for us though. Do you think a fully fit United? Yes. I do actually believe full fitness we beat them. Generally speaking.
With all our players in as
well. All our players back. Fully fit. And fully fit, we beat them. Because Varane, you can't tell me that with Varane in this team, we maybe don't at least one of those goals don't get chalked off. With Varane in this team. If you point to this team, Varane, Amrabat, because we're playing against big team, I believe Amrabat would have played over Mount. If you point to this team, Varane, Amrabat, and Anthony, because as much as people will say Anthony doesn't do much, I'm sorry, but he wouldn't have played as bad as Pellistri. I've seen Anthony have some bad games or worse games, but never as bad as that. Never, in terms of performance, never as bad as what I saw for Pellistri. And I won't get onto him because, like I said, he was thrown into the deep end, I believe. I don't think it's fair to get onto Pellistri.
And if you think about it, sometimes Anthony can have a bad game, but he can still score.
Yeah, I think Anthony, if you throw in Anthony, Varane, let's just negate any of the off the field issues of Anthony. I'm just talking about football here. Let's just put that to one side. I'm not saying whether he should be here right now or anything. You just asked the question. So Anthony, Varane, and and what's the other guy I mentioned? Amrabat thrown into this team. I think we beat Bayern and we beat them quite comfortably. Obviously, or at the very least, it's a score draw. Genuinely speaking, because you can't tell me that adding someone that can press and cover ground like Amrabat, adding our best defender, one of the best centre backs in the Premier League in Varane, and throwing Anthony in the team wouldn't have improved us significantly enough to have gotten something out of this game. No chance. There's just no chance. One of the last players I really want to talk about, there's not really too much to talk about the centre-back partnership. I wouldn't really attribute a lot of those goals towards them. Maybe you could say some of the last ones, but we were sort of trying to push up the score. And when you do push up the score, you're likely to get hit with a sucker punch, which is what happened to us.
Like in the Arsenal game.
Yeah. So the last person I want to really talk about from the Man United side is Bruno's performance. How do you think Bruno did today?
I don't think. Oh nah, Bruno. I can't. Bruno wasn't all that today, man.
Yeah, it's Luke Shaw as well.
Oh okay. Yeah, Bruno wasn't all that today, man. Flipping misplacing passes. Like I'm sorry, yeah. Like Bruno, what was his passes today? Like overhitting passes and that. Bruno just slapping the ball, and especially like when he did that 1-2. I forgot who he did the 1-2 with.
Oh
he just
my days! In the first half,
the ball in the crowd, bro, skyrocketed. It reminded me of that penalty that he had
against Aston Villa.
Yeah, when he skied it, fam. It literally reminded me of that, fam. I was like, yo, what's this guy doing?
That was insane. Honestly speaking, it's rare to see at this level someone hit the ball like that. That baffled me.
To be fair, it was on his weak foot, but he hit that.
Come on, someone of Bruno's technical ability.
True.
Don't be telling me about no weak foot at his level.
He hit that with so much conviction. I was thinking, yo, like.
I think you're honestly speaking. I don't even know why he tried to shoot from there. Quite frankly, I mean, he didn't. Whatever. It's not like it was a major part of the game. My main issue with Bruno is his passing was off today.
Yeah, it's not.
Of course, thing about Bruno is he's inevitable. I call him, he's literally the Portuguese Thanos. Guy is inevitable. Misplacing passes, shots, wild shots, misplacing passes. But in the key moment, ball into the box, onto Casemiro's head, boom, goal. It's just Bruno for you, man. Like, sometimes he'll have these performances, and the funny thing is, you can almost count on it that when Bruno's performing particularly badly, that he's just going to end up scoring or getting an assist when he's particularly having an off day. It's funny. The guy is funny, but the thing is, he did show leadership today. Typically Bruno always works hard, very, very hard the entire game, which is something that you can never, as much as people can talk about how Bruno performs in terms of on the ball from time to time, you can never talk about Bruno. Not scraping the back. You can never talk about Bruno's work ethic. That's one thing you can never downplay, work ethic.
Yeah, literally.
But if we're going to the Allianz Arena, and the best thing I can say about our captain today was that he ran around really well, I think that's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I think it's a sad state of affairs.
We just have to hope that when Bayern plays at home, it's different. Yeah. When do we play Bayern again? Actually,
we'll most likely the return. Do you guys know when we'll next be playing? When we'll next play? Let me just have a little look for when we'll next play. Let me just see when we'll next play them. 12th of December. Cool. So by 12th of December, we should have everyone back. Shaw should be back. Kobe Minor should be back. I mean, knowing our luck, probably have some more injuries. But let me not put it out into the ether. I mean, I already have actually. But anyway, Varane, let's hope he's back and fine. Amrabat and Mount back, integrate into the team, ready and raring to go. Luke Shaw, back from his hiatus. Malacia, more depth. Who else is important? Kobe Minu. Let's talk about, I don't know if the situation with Sancho is resolved, maybe. I don't know if the anti situation will be resolved, maybe. That could be another 2 players back into the squad. By this Bayern game at home, with some more games under our belt, match fitness, people integrated in the team, the new signings, I think we'll be ready for this return fixture at home, and we will cook them at home. I'm predicting that now we're going to cook them at home. I don't give a crap. And I've already said it and I'll say it again. Man United will have an amazing second half of the season. It's going to be doom and gloom this first half. We're going to pick it up. The only thing that may be peak for us though is it could be too little too late, in the sense that by the time we start to come into this good vein of form, it could already be, top four sort of out the way, out the window. Who knows, maybe we're out of one of the other cup competitions, like we could be out of the League Cup by then because of poor performances. We'll see. But in terms of performances, I think we're going to see good stuff second half of the season. United, man, not going to lie, the game showed light. The game showed light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, it did. It showed our ability in big games, even away, to be able to control pressure. Obviously, we still need to get over that hurdle, and I need Ten Hag to get over this hurdle, which is when we concede and the players' heads drop, not to then go on to concede a second goal. Being able to score a goal, keep our heads, and not concede. So basically, when it comes to conceding goals and not allowing the snowball effect, and also when we concede, to make sure we keep our to keep our composure so we don't go on to concede. Those are two things I need to still see. But we've shown today at least that we may be able to score goals. Obviously, just one game scored 3 goals. I don't know the last time Man United scored 3 goals. Outside of the Nottingham Forest game, we rarely score any more than 1 or 2 goals. So light at the end of the tunnel, in the sense that we are more than capable nowadays of controlling games even away from home at big teams. We can do that now. We did that during the game. Again, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Simply, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Most of the mistakes we're doing, I believe, comes from sloppy play. Sloppy play, as opposed to some of these players being poor. Such as Casemiro not covering. Casemiro didn't cover his man, Gnabry, because he's crap. It was these lapses in concentration that players are having at the club that's causing our downturn, I believe. It's the hope that kills. Yo, bro, if I don't laugh, I'll cry. If I don't hope, there's no hope, you die. Simple. You don't laugh, you cry. If there's no hope, you die. Bro, I don't care, man. I'll sip on my Kool-Aid and snort my copium. It's calm. I'm alright. I'm alright, man. Don't worry about me. You worry about your club.
So our next game we got
is Burnley. So before we wrap up, guys, just a little schedule for the rest of the week. So we'll be doing, of course. If I just quickly have a look at what day we're playing, it will be
reinforcements in January.
100%. 1 second before I get into that. So we're going to be playing on Saturday, 8 p.m. kickoff versus Burnley. Saturday, 8 p.m. So of course we'll be doing a match preview on. So actually tomorrow, the match preview for the Burnley game away at Burnley.
Yeah. And
also look out for the player ratings for this game. So the actual player ratings, well, obviously I'll give them a score. You see the graphics for that. All the new subscribers, you see the graphics for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of, do you want to see reinforcements in January? Of course. The news is that the Qatari owners, Qatari investment group, whoever is going to own the club, may be in before the turn of the new year. Prediction is around October, November time. Whether it happens or not, we'll just have to hope and pray that it does happen. If it does happen, we can definitely get some decent investment in January. Bring in that centre-back we need. I still want Todibo. We weren't able to get Kim Min-jae. Getting Todibo, our centre-back, to be backup, so we never need to see Maguire or Evans' face in this team again because they're not good enough at the moment. Getting Todibo or whoever else is of the level we need. Get in maybe a loanee striker of a good level or another striker of a good level. Bring that in. And potentially, if Sancho does if we do get rid of Sancho, bring in another right winger to compete with Anthony, because Sancho is going to be going and it doesn't seem like the manager favours or trusts Pellistri, and at the moment, even if he did trust him, He doesn't seem to be good enough, but that's left to be seen. We need to see more of that.
Yeah, he did come in a hard match against Davies, to be fair. So
yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys absolutely killed it this stream and also during the watch along. Thank you so much for the investment. Thanks Pat, Mizzo, Roykin, everyone that was through on the stream. Sage, look forward to seeing you guys on the next stream. Look forward to seeing you guys back here on the Burnley stream. If you guys give me an idea of what teams you support, I may start covering other matches for the big six clubs. And if any of you guys do any sort of content as well, I'd be more than happy to have people on the show to talk. Let me know. You guys have a cracking evening, and we're signing off.
In a bit, guys.
In a bit.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway, let me drop a little thing in the chat. Little dab.
What's it, little dab?
Little dab in it. Dab. Jeez, good night, you.